would you like to see a 2 out of 3 fall match? And I said yes. And after rethinking that, I'm not so sure. It depends. It depends on the competitors. A Flying Brian Ric Flair or Flying Brian Steve Austin match 2 out of 3 falls would be good. I would never want to see a 2 out of 3 fall tag team title match with the Nasty Boys against Cactus Jack and Max Payne. Because I just think that they're brawlers. And the Nasty Boys went almost 30 minutes at Starrcade, if you'll recall, and really that was about all they could take, because their style is not a wrestling style, it's a brawling style. And I think if all title matches, if the law is laid down by our new commissioner, if all title matches end up being a 2 out of 3 fall match, you're going to see some very boring title matches.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the competition, I mean, you've got Steve Regal who can wrestle.
Well, see, you're right. You've got guys who can. It depends on who it is. But I mean, we're talking about some guys who can go 2 out of 3 falls. We're talking about some guys and teams who can't. And you really have to look at the athletes and look at their capabilities. And then, as a company, WCW say, would the fans like to see 2 out of 3 falls? The answer is yes. Then, as promoters, you try to talk to both sides and have them agree to it. And then you have them sign it. You just can't make a blanket statement, because it's, it's like, I guess it's like trying to make all football teams, do the run and shoot offense. Some can, some can't.
Interesting. Okay, that's a good analogy. Brian Pillman, your opinion of the best 2 out of 3 falls? Are you hoping that it'll go through, or are you kind of hesitant about that?
No, I think it'd be a step in the wrong direction. I think 2 out of 3 falls takes away the impact of especially in a title match, when each the fans are sitting on the edge of their seat, hinging on each falls finish and finishing maneuver. And I think the suspense and the magnitude of the match is compromised to a small degree when it's 2 out of 3 falls. And then, as Tony mentioned, you're going to have certain individuals and teams that are going to be more inclined to stall and perhaps go for a time limit draw, as opposed to the fast-paced, high-risk action you see when there's only one fall determining the winner of the match.
Well, my opinion of 2 out of 3 is the years I've been watching wrestling and been involved in some organizations, is the fact that it becomes so predictable. I mean, the first match goes to one guy, second goes to the other, and of course the third sometimes is decisive, sometimes not. I mean, during the Rude and Rhodes matches, there was sometimes the U.S. title was held up for how long, but then you got to look at the last pay-per-view, the Super Brawl that they had there, or Starrcade. I'm sorry, the Starrcade, in which they had Steve Austin against Dustin Rhodes. He won the first one there. What was it, via disqualification, I believe, because of the top rope, and then he won the second one, and that really shocked me, because I thought for sure Dustin would come back and beat Steve in the second one, and then we'd go all 3 matches. Tony, do you feel that in a way fans are starting to think that it's getting too predictable?
No, I don't get that feeling.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Okay, how about you, Brian?
No, not in the least. It's there's nothing predictable about professional wrestling, especially the competition in WCW. As you just mentioned yourself, I think you may have fell into that predictability mode and found out with the Austin Rhodes match that that's the worst thing you can do, is try to start falling into that comfort zone of predictability. And even with that being the case, I'm still against the 2 out of 3 fall matches.
Okay. Now, Sting wrestled Steve Austin on TV a few weeks ago. You ran in the ring, you hit Austin. The referee disqualified Sting because, of course, you're outside interference, and Steve Austin went on to win that match. Now, I thought for sure Sting would either haul off and hit you or just freak out on you right then and there on TV. He didn't, though, on TV. What about in the locker room? Was he pretty upset with you about that?
No, not at all. He realized the reason I ran out there was Kentucky Fried Colonel was getting ready to sneak through the ropes and by some subterfuge steal a match from Sting. And I don't know if that was which camera angle they had at home, but it may not have been real clear, but it was very evident to Sting that the match was going to end by a disqualification anyway, and he was happy to have somebody watching his back for him, and cost him the victory on a technicality. But we both realized down the road we'll get another shot at him.
Okay. It's 10 minutes after 11 o'clock right here at WMOH. It's Rowdy Ron's Wrestle Talk, and on the air we do have, of course, two WCW stars, Flying Brian Pillman and broadcast extraordinaire Mr. Tony Schiavone. We'll be taking your phone calls here also. I see the lines are lighting up, so stay tuned for that. Another question here. First of all, Super Brawl, I believe it's number 4 that's coming up here in February. There, of course, is going to be a big thing here, a 6-man matchup. I believe it will be in a cage. It's been announced tonight. Sting, Dustin Rhodes, and yourself, Flying Brian Pillman, against Ravishing Rick Rude, former tag team partner Steve Austin, and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, or as the fans call him, Paula Orndorff. Now, Brian, before I ask you your opinion of this thing here, Tony, you're going to be there. How do you call this one? It's a tough one to call.
You mean a 6-man?
You got 6 of the greatest wrestlers WCW really has to offer out there, and yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, it really is going to be a tough one because there's going to be a lot of emotions. But you have to look at a 6-man, and you have to look at it from the fans' point of view. What is the burning issue in the 6-man? And to me, the burning issue is still the Hollywood Blondes. The burning issue is still Flying Brian, Stunning Steve. If I were Flying Brian, I'd be kind of upset with the WCW Championship Committee right now because he's going in this. He's wrestled Stunning Steve on television in a non-title match. He's going to wrestle Colonel Rob Parker, and he's going to have that chicken match. Now he deserves a shot at that title, and he's going to be put into a cage. And I know that a cage, a lot of things can happen. Guys' careers can end. Brian can remember back at one of the Wrestle Wars that we had in Phoenix, to where he got hurt in that cage and had to be taken out that night because of an injury. So you risk a lot. I know, Brian, a lot of emotions running high, but fans are looking at this thinking about maybe the Hollywood Blondes will finally settle the score once and for all, and that's the burning issue in that match. So I think it's going to be very easy to call because I know what it's all about, and it should be a lot of fun. Well, here's the thing, though. You say it could end the Hollywood Blondes saga, I guess you could say, that the big feud they have there. But don't you feel that a one-on-one, maybe in a cage, would be the best way to end this feud?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if one-on-one. I think the best way to end this feud would finally have them go after the title. I don't care what anybody says. You wrestle differently. Stunning Steve wrestles differently when he has a title on the line than he does when he doesn't have the title on the line. That's not taking anything away from Brian's win he had on Steve the other night. But Steve, a lot of times, will, as champions will do when they have the title, will as soon take a count out, take a disqualification, and hold on to the title. I'd like to see Flying Brian, Stunning Steve in the cage, no disqualification, anything goes, with a title on the line. That means they have to give it their all, and that would finally, to me, be the way to end the feud.
Well, Brian Pillman, of course, you're a big part of this here. Again, you've got two partners out there, Sting, and of course the natural Dustin Rhodes here. Big matchup here for you. How are you going to fare against all three of these people of Rude, Austin, and Orndorff? How are you going to get yourself prepared for this?
Well, first, like I said, I'm not going to be beguiled by the smokescreen that Colonel Chicken has orchestrated here. It's, as Tony mentioned, the real issue here is Steve Austin, Flying Brian, the Hollywood Blondes. It's obvious that he's hired a couple henchmen in Orndorff and Rude to throw into the mix there. And fortunately for me, I've got two fine athletes, Sting and Dustin Rhodes, to join me in this battle. But anytime you step inside a steel cage, careers are on the line, and that's why it's on pay-per-view. It's going to be a pretty ugly affair, and a lot of the things that are going to go on in that cage aren't going to resemble a wrestling match. But I'm prepared to take that step and cross that line because of what has taken place in the past.
Well, Brian, before I ask you this next question, Tony, let me ask you this: the cage match that's scheduled for this, the rules for it. I mean, is there a pin submission, or is it strictly through the door or over the top?
No, it's pin submission, as best I know.
Let
me also say this: that we are going to have a WCW commissioner. It's going to be named this coming Thursday.
That's right.
And he may change all that. So we'll just have to wait and see.